Hi guys, so I'm doing a commentary on a game that I just won, which is the highest against the highest rating player that I've won against. I took a bit of a jump and went up to challenge a 1929 rated player, and I'm trying to get myself up to 1800. Every time I get up to 1800 and beyond, I start getting crushed by people who know the openings. So anyway, this was a nice one. Thought I'd take you through it. Hope you enjoyed as well. Right, so if we get started, be patient while I also work out the software a little bit, as this is my first explainer like this. And here we go. So white opens with e4. I'm coming with the Caro-Kann opening. He wants to challenge d5, but it's no problem because d5 is protected by two pieces. He takes on d5, I take, he backs off with the bishop because he can't take, obviously. The queen is protecting there. I want to sort of get control. I also want to develop my pieces. And I've also kind of got that little threat there if I need it, if I want to get rid of his light square bishop. He wants to open a door for his light square bishop and then possibly prepare for d4, but that's very passive for white, and it gives black a bit of a chance to develop his pieces faster. So he plays this queen move, which is really not a good idea. He's still undeveloped, he still can't castle. His minor pieces are all behind the row. Sorry, my mouse is not so good at the moment. So now Stockfish really wants, and he wants me to do this for the next 5 moves. By the way, I'm only looking at one possible line here that the engine is looking at, just to keep things simple. But this is the best line, apparently. So let's see. So I'm going to go up here. I just want to play carefully. I'm up against a 1900 player, and I would like to be careful. Interesting. There's careful for you. So he castles. I bring my bishop out to here. Stockfish still wants me to push here. Now why is that? Because if white were to take, then I can take back with a threat on the light square bishop and on the queen. That's the problem with having the queen out so early. Alright, so he still wants me to do that, even though now it can be hit by that knight, and it'd be interesting to have a look. We could have a quick look and see what he's got in mind. What happens if you should take with the lower piece? What happens if you take with the pawn? He's going to block out that queen move to there and pinning that knight. I guess he just wants to go for development. But now I can take, he can take, and I can take. That brings me out into a better square. And you can see that now that the queen is there, the knight can't jump here, which is the reason that Stockfish wanted that move before, to prevent this from happening 3 moves later. So incredible, but not so impossible to do also. It's just strategic awareness. Alright, so let's go back to what happened in the game. He still wants me to do it. I want to castle. I just want to get my king to safety. Black is still in the lead, so it's okay. I mean, you obviously can't see this during the game. Again, another passive move there from white. He's, I don't know, preventing the bishop coming over there and pinning. Not a good idea, though. He's probably got other ideas. What are the better ideas? So he wants to just simply be able to develop the bishop, you know. And also he's got to think about getting this out. Now if he gets out now, I can take him, and then he's ruined his pawn structure. He'll have doubled pawns there, which is a weakness in the longer term. Black can attack it with this queen, and I'll have 2 connected pawns here. So once all the pieces go, those double pawns there won't be so good. So now I decide, now I think is a good time to do it, because my king's safe now. My rooks and my back rank are all split out. So now I'm going to push, and let's see what happens. So he takes, and this is all pretty predictable. And my aim also, by the way, my reason for doing this before, why move the bishop here and not here? Because if you move the bishop here, then this pawn is pinned by the queen, and that pawn becomes weak. So the bishop has got some pressure on that pawn then. Maybe it's nothing to fear because this knight is still there and his bishop is not out pinning the knight. So anyway, I just want to put it there, and I've also got this kind of hold on these squares here, preventing that knight from entering. Castle, now's the time to push. Okay, so now we've got something here where this square is under attack. Okay, so black has got this threat now of skewering the queen and then winning the rook. And that rook is a valuable one. Is it more valuable than my light square bishop? Whatever, probably. Probably. According to the ancient, it would be. Maybe in a strategic position game between humans, it might be. It might not be. But so that's why white has to get out of there. So he gets out of there, and the engine wants to support the queen, because now if queen takes queen and then rook takes queen, now you've got a rook developed, and then you can get the other rook in the game as well, and then you've got doubled rooks in a central file, and that's very good strategically, positionally. But I've got a different idea, so I want my bishop there. So I'm also a little bit worried about this move here. I'm worried about this queen taking that, which is why I didn't do that. Well, let's come back to this in a bit. I protect this instead, but I've also got another idea there, if you can see. There it is there. So that's the idea that I wanted, which gives me a hit on that pawn. So now I'm pinning the pawn, which makes that square weak. So in the future, I've got a move like knight there, and that would be possibly nice. Maybe not in this position because the rook is moved off the line, something like this. But anyway, this is all in the position. So now it kind of compels white to taking the queen, and this is what I wanted. So now I've got a clamp on white's position. So white's dark square bishop and his rook are now pretty immobilized, paralyzed. So that's good, and I like that. That's what I was going for. Now he makes mistakes. So now I've got a good position, and he's worried, you see. That was fear factor. The fear factor, the engine wouldn't have made such a mistake, but humans do. So as soon as the fear is on and the time is ticking, he moves out. You've just got to wait for the mistake. So there it is there, and then after that, black kind of wins this game. But I just wanted to take you back to this, and this is really the reason for making the video, is this analysis. Just fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. He's pushing this. By the way, when your opponent pushes a pawn like this, one of the ideas is to attack it by advancing your own pawn. But this is too slow. This is too late, too slow. He's completely undeveloped, whereas black is completely developed. So this is too slow. What did the engine want to do? This is just fantastic. Watch this. The engine wanted to... Can we get back to that position? It's back here. Sorry, my mouse. I need to get a new mouse. It is. Oh, he's chosen a different rook now. See that? The computer is processed. Yeah, okay, so he wants to still go with this rook. Yeah, and what his idea is to prevent the rook from coming out. So then the threat is that black would be able to take the queen, and his rook wouldn't be able to come out because this rook would be able to come down and take that bishop, which would be unprotected. So that's what's going on here. I didn't do this because I thought that he would be able to capture that pawn. But check out what happens if you do. This is awesome. So now obviously he can't. He doesn't want to do this because he doesn't want to help my bishop. Now, yeah, so he gets out of that problem. See that? So he doesn't want to take me, but also he doesn't want it if I take him. He won't be able to take with the rook. He wants to be able to take with the rook. If he takes with the pawns, it's not so good because then he'll have double isolated pawns. These pawns are not protected by anything. That's weak. This rook is going to come up behind, and those queens are gone, and it's going to hit that weak backward pawn. The weak backward pawn won't be able to advance because the bishop is there. So he doesn't want to be able to. He doesn't want to have to take back with the pawn. He wants to take back with the rook. He can't do that now because of this, so he has to find an alternative. He finds that alternative, which cuts off the communication and also develops a piece. But his main point there is to be able to take back with the rook. So now it also sets up that platform, whereas before in the main game, in my game, my platform is set up with this, and you've got that. So this is lovely, and now the best move is to actually capture the queen. Capture. So that's not bad. I thought I would just show that to you. There's something else a little bit later, maybe it's in the main game. Alright, so let's go back to the main game, where that's how I set it up. That forces him there. Now I've got a clamp on the position. He makes a mistake. I come in. He comes in there and he's setting a trap for me, by the way, which I didn't see. What I probably maybe should have done, I had two ideas of this. I saw this one, and I didn't know whether to play it or not. What happens if you play it? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that forces him back, and then, after that I can start bringing my knight into the game, and then clearly black is just winning from a longer term basis. The engine's idea though is this, knight moving back, which is a really cool idea. So if we go there and we're hitting that rook, so it's just basically the principle of creating the stronger attack. So this is a stronger attack. So how do you find a stronger attack? So now he's got to get out of there. Where's he going to go? Those bishops are controlling so many squares. So let's say he goes there. Now black can just freely develop. Now centralized rooks, white is just horrible. Let's go back to the game. That's what I did. And yeah, I didn't see this, but don't worry, it's not too bad. You can get out of it, but you've got to be careful. So he saw a variation which it's bad for black. That's what he was looking at, okay? But this is another reason I wanted to make this video. It's a beautiful move there by black. He's protecting that. He's protecting that. The knight's protected. And check this out. Check this out. If the knight is there, and if the rook takes the bishop, can you see what the knight can play? Check. And then you've got a fork on that rook, and you get the rook. And you keep a minor piece there clamping down on black's position. So just beautiful, really nice, simple tactic. But anyway, I did this, and look at that, losing immediately, even though it is attacking that piece there. So he captures the wrong piece. He should have captured the other bishop, I think. No, if he captures either of the bishops, that's what I've got. See? So it doesn't matter. I didn't care if he captured either bishop. And that's why I did this. So take your pick. But it's bad. We won't look at it now. So I will take, so he's made a mistake. Yeah, oh, that's right. So what he should have done was this knight move, just really nice move, because then that blocks this out. So black's attack no longer works, and he's still in this fork, this double attack by the rook, and so I'm going to drop one of those pieces. So not great, but still not losing, because remember I'm a piece up at this stage, I think. Am I a piece up? Or I've got a lot of advantage anyway. Backward pawn there on his side, his pieces are all behind. I mean, I've just got so much advantage. But if he were to get a piece, then obviously that gives him back some of that advantage. Alright, so now I want to... This is a nice move here by the fish. He wants to simply stabilize the position. So keep that lock on. Yeah. So rather than moving that bishop out of the way, you can defend the position, hold the position. Hodor. Alright, so what I did is what I'd been planning to do, which is this. You have to be careful, because if you take with the bishop, then the bishop is pinned, because that rook is unprotected. So you take the bishop, and then he can attack the pinned piece, is the principle, is the idea. If there's a pinned piece, you attack it. So then he would attack it by bringing that bishop to attack my bishop, and now he's got two pieces attacking my bishop, and I can't defend the bishop anymore, so I'd lose the bishop. And I can't, and you know, doing this then doesn't help me, because the bishop is the one that's under attack. Yeah, so you've got to be careful about what you take it with. Take it with the rook is fine, because now if he takes my bishop, I take his rook, which is unprotected. So he takes that, take, right, so now we're up a piece. Are we? Yeah, we're up one piece. And he's got an isolating pawn. So it's pretty much over now, it's over. So centralizing the bishop, getting the bishop out into the center of the board. Fish wanted us to just go straight on the offensive with an attack on that pawn, and the thing is he can't defend it by going there, because then I would have a double attack. He can't defend it with that bishop, and if he were to bring it here, if my rook is there, it's undefended, so he can't do anything with that, and that pawn would fall. So again, the principle of attacking the undefended piece. Instead, I didn't see that in the game. My time was running out, by the way. I was down to like 24 seconds or something. So I was playing on an increment of 8 seconds. And I was down to 28 seconds or something like that. Alright, so now I just come out. I want to build pressure here. And then he attacks my bishop. Yeah, and you see, the rook, non-active, passive piece, not doing anything. And it gives him what's called the initiative, or it gives him not the initiative but counterplay. So he's got some counterplay now, whereas the way that the engine's recommendation before would have locked down that counterplay, and he wouldn't have had any. And that's what you've got to look for in your games, is locking down counterplay. What can my opponent do? So you want to always try and stop that. Okay, so now he's able to do something, because I played a passive move before, which doesn't attack anything. See? So if I go out there, I'm not attacking anything. So it gives him counterplay. If it was earlier in the game and if it was more equal in the game, this would be the initiative. Alright, so he goes for it, and Engine just wants me to trade off. I want to trade off as well. So he doesn't want to trade off because he's down material, so he doesn't want to trade. Well, the reason I brought the bishop back here is because I want to protect this square. And I'll show you why I want to protect that square. Because of this. So he was looking for this before. And my only defense, and you've got to see this a few moves ago, you've got to know that rooks always like to go onto the 7th rank. And just with that knowledge, you can sort of prepare for his possible counterattacks. So I knew that this counterattack is on the board, it's going to come at some point. So I've got to be ready for it. How can I be ready? I can simply put a defender here. Now, why do I want the defender there? Because now he can't go here. See? He can't go here and attack that. because I know that this is going to move forward, this is going to become vulnerable. I don't want him to be able to attack it again. So I'm going to bring my bishop there to put a guard on that point because I know that all of this is going to change. So you've got to see this, I see this a few moves ago. See it back here. That's the reason for maneuvering this bishop. I know that he wants to. Why did he do this move? See? Well, what's he got? What can he choose? He chooses here. Why? Well, he wants to come down to the 7th. He's going to hit that. How am I going to defend that? I'm going to have to move it forward. And then that's going to be weak, so he's going to be able to come back there and hit that. How am I going to defend this if I don't have a dark squared bishop? Okay, I might have been able to do that, but then he can come and take out that defender. And then I have to take him back, and then he can win that pawn. You see? So that's all on the board a few moves ago. So you've got to prepare for it. And you see that's what the engine is looking at as well. That's why the engine said, okay, you're down in material, but never mind. Get rid of the defender. But then he reevaluates that. He wants to prepare before he gets attacked. And the engine often does that. He often sees that attack and he says, okay, I want to do it beforehand. And he's also looking at this break here. You see? And then that would create a doubled pawn, and then he'd be able to attack that doubled pawn. The blockade, the doubled pawn. And there and there. See? So that's his reasoning in that. I'm going after that now. He can't go here anymore. He defends that, and you can see now all of that initiative that he had before, that momentum, that counterplay, it's gone. And he had some of it here, but he can't do anything else with it. Remember? So he was pushing that pawn forward, it was knocking my bishop around, but it didn't matter because my bishop's playing an important role that will prevent his ongoing momentum a few moves later. And now he's reduced to a passive defensive mode. And in this position, I'm sort of thinking, all right, what do I do? I didn't see that. That's so simple. But remember, I'm down to like just seconds on the clock. So I'm just thinking, okay, just play pragmatically, don't lose, be careful, develop your king. You've got to develop your king in the end game. Everything is protected. There's no funny business that he can do. See, that's protected, that's protected. So there's nothing he can do really. Maybe he can push something there, but so what? Yeah, lovely there. Yeah, see that? So I can go there. Let's just play that through. So he comes up there, and then he just doesn't know what to do. Although now that thing becomes open, so that you can defend. And then you've got it. And then he plays that, or where do you want to go now? Just there. And then you can lock it. You can lock him up, lock the hook up, and you see the engine just doesn't know what to do. Yeah, but instead of going there, I developed the king, and then it's still on the board. He doesn't see it either. And then I'm looking at it for a couple of seconds, and then he resigns, because you can see it's a completely hopeless position. I don't know, would I have seen that? I don't know if I was looking at it. Maybe I might have still made a mistake. Maybe he resigned a bit too soon. It's possible I could have made a mistake, but I don't think so, because I was playing pretty well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much. See you next time.